Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take the stuff you're curious about and really dig in.
Exactly.
And this time, you've given us some really interesting material on the eCoach 360-degree system, specifically about finding your core region as a golfer.
Yeah, it looks fascinating. It's all about using these self-assessments, physical measurements, natural movements.
Right, to figure out maybe some inherent traits, things that could actually help your golf game, potentially unlock some power or efficiency.
Absolutely. And it's not just generic tips, is it? It's very personalized, based on your body.
So our mission today, break down this eCoach 360-degree screening process from these documents you sent. How can you, the listener, use this to understand your core region?
And it's important, the document really stresses this. You have to do these assessments carefully. Precision matters,
Makes sense. Garbage in, garbage out, right?
pretty much. The quality of your measurements, how you do the movements, that directly impacts how accurate the core region thing will be. It's a foundation.
They mentioned a video too, but we're focusing on the text instructions here today.
Yeah, we'll walk through what the document describes.
Okay, let's dive in. Screen 1. Arm span versus height. Sounds simple enough. Stand up, arms out.
Right. Stretch them wide and compare that wingspan measurement to your height.
So what does this tell us? How does this basic ratio give any insight?
Well, it's kind of interesting. It hints at your potential downswing path. So if your wingspan is longer than your height,
Okay.
that classifies you as a lower core golfer. Think about it, longer levers, right?
Uh-huh.
So the idea is you might need to push a bit more towards the right during the downswing to get the club into the slot, as they say.
Ah, okay. To manage those longer arms effectively and maximize rotation.
Exactly. Maximize that rotational force toward the target. It's
Mm.
about matching the swing arc to your build.
That makes sense. What if they're the same? Wingspan equals height?
That's your middle core golfer.
Okay.
And the implication there is, well, balance.
Balance.
Yeah. You probably don't need an excessive push or that kind of upward launch to find the slot. The document suggests minimal rotation might actually be optimal. Efficient rotation is key.
So balanced body, maybe a more naturally balanced rotational swing.
That seems to be the idea.
Okay, and the third type, upper core golfer. That's when your height is greater than your wingspan. Shorter arms, relatively speaking.
Right. And for these golfers, the document suggests they might benefit from, or perhaps naturally use, more knee flex at address.
Why is that?
Well, possibly to get down to the ball comfortably, maintain balance, lowering the center of gravity.
Okay.
And it also mentions building tension early, kind of preloading to really stretch through impact and generate force, maybe compensating for those shorter levers.
Wow. Just from height and arm span.
Okay.
Screen 2. This one compares forearm length to upper arm length.
Mm-hmm.
How does this add to the picture?
So now we're looking at the levers within the arm itself and how their relative lengths might shape the swing, particularly the backswing and transition. So if your forearm is longer than your upper arm, you're likely leaning towards lower core again.
Okay, lower core. And what's the tendency?
A longer forearm, it suggests, can lead to a naturally steeper backswing.
Steeper.
Yeah. And because it's steeper, you might then need a more deliberate pushing or shallowing move in the downswing to get the club back on plane for impact.
So arm segments influence the shape, which then needs a specific transition move.
Got it.
What if they're equal? Forearm equals upper arm, middle core again.
You got it. Middle core again. And it reinforces that theme of balance, really. Neutral arm segments suggest your main power source is probably rotational force, turning smoothly.
Focus on rotation for the middle core golfer and the upper core. Shorter forearm than upper arm.
Yeah. And this often correlates with a flatter backswing playing.
Flatter backswing.
Right. So to get good club head speed and the right attack angle, the document suggests these golfers might need more leg extension during the swing, using the ground.
Like pushing up from the ground to help steepen the club coming down.
Kind of, yeah. Using vertical force to help get the club into a strong impact position.
The body finds ways, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, screen 3 is called Your Natural Swing DNA. Sounds fundamental. What's involved here?
This one tries to get at your body's natural preference for how the right arm wants to move.
How do you test it?
You get in your address posture, palms together like you're praying, almost. Then swing just your right arm back, keeping palms together, till it's about chest height.
Okay, right arm back, palms stay together. And what are we looking for?
Where your right hand ends up relative to your left. If the right hand finishes underneath the left, you're probably leaning lower core. This suggests a natural tendency for that strong lateral move towards a target at the start of the downswing, like your body's already set up for that shift.
Right hand under hints at a lateral shift.
Right.
Okay. What if they stay level? Hands even.
That usually points to middle core. It suggests you might naturally apply pressure more to the right side of the grip,
Okay.
and that pressure helps kick off the hip rotation. It's more of a rotational trigger.
Makes sense. And right hand over the left. That's upper core.
That's the indicator for upper core, yes. This position often means there's a natural tendency to push downward with the right arm in the swing.
Downward push.
Yeah. And the document notes that golfers with this pattern often need to compensate by extending upwards through impact to get solid contact.
So they need that vertical lift we talked about earlier.
Yeah, exactly. It connects.
It's really interesting how these small moves give clues. The document also mentions intermediate types here, side under and side cover.
Right, because it's not always clean cut, is it? Golf swings are complex.
Definitely not.
So a side under golfer is sort of between lower and middle. They likely use a mix, some lateral shift, and some right side pressure for rotation.
A blend.
Yeah. And the side cover golfer is between middle and upper. So they probably combine rotation with that downward push and then need the extension at impact too. It allows for that nuance.
Good that it acknowledges the spectrum. Okay, screen 4. Fundamental rotational patterns. This involves holding a club across your sides and doing a backswing rotation. What's the focus?
This one's looking at your natural weight shift during that rotational move. Where does the pressure go?
Okay.
If your weight shifts noticeably to your right side, your trail side, you're described as a rear poster, and that aligns with the lower core profile.
Rear poster, lower core, weight goes right.
Yeah. And it reinforces the idea that a good lateral shift back towards the target in the downswing is probably important for them. They load right to shift left.
Makes sense. What about the center poster? That sounds like middle core.
Exactly. As the name suggests, their weight tends to stay more centered during that rotation.
So less lateral shift?
Right. It supports the idea that their power comes more from pure, efficient rotation around a stable center.
And the front poster, associated with upper core. Their weight shifts left towards the target on the backswing. That seems odd.
It does sound a bit counterintuitive at first, yeah. But think about it. If they shift pressure towards the lead side early, it might be setting them up to use that vertical force we keep mentioning. They load into the front side to then push up through impact.
Okay. Loading to spring upwards. Got it. Screen 5 looks at hip rotation at impact, using alignment sticks for this one.
Yes, as a visual guide. You make a practice swing, no ball needed, and see how much your hips have rotated just past where impact would be.
And what are the benchmarks?
If your hips rotate more than 45 degrees, that's typical for a lower core golfer.
More than 45 degrees.
Yeah. It strongly suggests they use fast hip speed, a lot of rotation through the ball, as a major power source.
So fast hips connecting with that lateral drive. What about middle core?
For middle core, the target is right around 45 degrees, not significantly more, not less.
45 degrees.
Yeah. It indicates that blend, again, using both some push or lateral force and good rotational speed together for power, a balanced mix.
And less than 45 degrees of hip rotation points to upper core?
That's the pattern, yes. Less hip rotation through impact suggests their main power engine is that vertical extension, that upward thrust, rather than sheer rotational speed of the hips.
Okay, it's all starting to paint a consistent picture for each type. We're at the last one, screen 6. External shoulder rotation. This sounds like a direct physical measurement.
It is. You'd need something like a digital protractor or maybe just a good assessment to measure how far you can naturally rotate your shoulder outwards.
And how does this connect to the golf swing, specifically the setup?
It gives clues about your potentially most stable and powerful stance width and weight distribution.
Okay, how so?
If you have less external rotation, say 148 degrees or less, that aligns with a lower core.
Lower core, less shoulder rotation.
Right. And the recommendation is often a slightly wider stance with weight maybe centered more over the midfoot. Provides a stable base.
Wider base for maybe less natural rotation range. Makes sense. Middle core.
They fall in the middle range, say 151 to 158 degrees. And for them, a medium stance width, weight balanced maybe between the ball of the foot and the mid-arch often works well. Again, aligning with that balanced rotational profile.
Balanced rotation range, balanced setup. And the upper core. They'd have more external rotation.
Generally, yes. So 161 degrees or more.
And the setup.
That greater range often corresponds well with a narrower stance and maybe having the weight a bit more on the balls of the feet.
Narrower stance, weight forward.
Yeah, it likely helps them facilitate that upward extension, that vertical force generation that seems key for the upper core swing.
Okay, so after going through all 6 screens, arm span, arm segments, swing DNA, rotation pattern, hip rotation, shoulder rotation,
Yeah.
you should start to see a pattern.
Ideally, yeah. You'll likely see results tending towards one of the 3 main core regions, lower, middle, or upper.
And even if it's a bit mixed.
That's where those intermediate categories, side under and side cover, come in handy. They acknowledge that golfers are often a blend.
Yeah.
But the main goal really is to get a personalized starting point, something based on your actual physical structure and how you naturally move, to optimize your swing.
This has been really enlightening. It's pretty amazing how these, relatively simple self-checks can give you such potentially valuable clues about your swing tendencies.
It really is. And I think the key takeaway for you listening is that figuring out your potential core region, lower, middle, upper, or maybe in between, isn't about finding flaws.
No, it's about understanding.
Exactly. Understanding which movement patterns might be inherently more efficient, more powerful, just for you based on your body. It's about working with your natural tendencies, not against them.
Forget the cookie cutter approach.
Right. And like the document implies, this is probably just step 1 in applying the whole eCoach 360-degree system. It gives you that foundation.
So a final thought for everyone listening. Thinking about these potential links to your body, your measurements, your natural movements, and how you swing a golf club. How might identifying your core region change things?
Yeah, how might it influence your next practice session? Or even just how you think about your swing overall?
Which bits resonated? Did anything click with what you already feel happens in your swing? Definitely something to chew on next time you head out to play or practice.